how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here, and today for game review, we're going to be reviewing Bioshock, the original one. So, not every week or every Friday is going to be a game review. It's just, I'm playing Kakarot right now, which takes a little while to beat. No trailers dropped, and I didn't go to see any movies. We already did Super Sentai for the month. So, we're going to review a game that I beat several times a while back, and gonna cover it because I actually technically on this journey I started on Bioshock 2 on beating all my games before I buy a PS5. So, gonna go ahead right now and start with Bioshock, so that next time we can do Bioshock 2. So Bioshock is a game, like I said, I've beat multiple times on multiple different systems. I beat it on Xbox 360, PS3, PS4. I don't know why I did it like that. The game's basically the same each time. It's just better graphics for PS4. But yeah, I did it anyways. So let's go ahead, talk about the story really quick. This game's been out for over 15 years, so if you don't know already, don't watch the video. That's the best way I could say it. But yeah, so basically what this is it's in the early 60s, sorry. You are on a plane that crashes in the middle of the ocean. You find a lighthouse that takes you to a underwater city known as Rapture. Rapture uses the teachings of Ayn Rand and laissez-faire to basically run the entire civilization to be a utopia. I am not a full psychologist, but I do have a bachelor's in business administration. So basically what laissez-faire is, really quick for those of you who don't know, is basically living off of yourself. So basically your wealth is controlled by you and you alone. There's no government involvement. So let's say I wanted to start my own business. That would have to be completely by myself, which is hard to start up by yourself, but once you get to that point of being able to sell and everything like that, the government cannot stop in and ask for taxes, stuff like that. So basically Rapture, for the time of it running, was a utopia until something happened. We don't really find out fully through the game until about halfway, and also in the extended edition of Bioshock Infinite with the DLC, that the main villain, known as Frank Fontaine, who's this mysterious villain that you know nothing about until closer to the end, or who it is until closer to the end, basically took over Rapture. And in doing that, some of the stuff that was sold down there got out of control. People turned and are now controlled by either Andrew Ryan, who was the founder, or Frank Fontaine, who's the traitor. So one of the main things that was sold in Rapture, that is one of the main game mechanics, are basically Adam and Eve. Adam gives you power, Eve lets you recharge the power. You can do like different superpowers such as electric shock, fire, bees, stuff like that. People who became way too addicted to it and everything are known as splicers, which is the main villain type that you're fighting. There's different subsections. There's spider slicers, leatherhead splicer, or leadhead splicers. I used to call them leatherhead, but turns out it's leadhead, and so on and so forth. Houdini splicers are another one that are kind of the more annoying type. But then you get your big bosses, being big daddies. Basically, to get more Adam, you have to collect little sisters. You get a morality choice of basically choosing to harvest them and get more Adam, but you kind of go to the dark side with that, or free them from their like brainwashing, which gives you less Adam, but it helps you out a little more in the end, in my opinion. So basically, doing those morality choices, you get either a good ending, which if you basically save every little sister, or you get the bad ending, which even if you harvest one of them, you will get. At least from what I remember, I never did the evil ending, but I know in Bioshock 2, you do, if you harvest one or two little sisters, you do get the evil ending no matter what. So basically, you journey along Rapture, you meet Atlas, who kind of guides you through everything and lets you know everything. Andrew Ryan is for some reason targeting him. As you go through, he asks you if you would kindly do certain things and stuff like that. And you end up finding Ryan, and which, funny, not me, Andrew Ryan. And he tells you if you could kindly go in and kill Andrew Ryan. At this, you find out that "would you kindly" is a sleeper phrase for your character to kill, or to follow rules, where you end up killing Andrew Ryan with a golf club, and then you find yourself going after Fontaine, who was Atlas the whole time. You chase after him, he has some other codes, you break your brainwashing, and then you go to fight Fontaine, who's like a jacked up splicer at this point. And what's funny is actually, for some reason, this is where I stopped my game, where I had barely any cash, barely any health, barely any Eve, and barely any ammo to fight Fontaine. Luckily, I was able to do that, and the game ends with the little sisters helping you. The good ending is that you are able to free yourself of Rapture and let these little sisters live an amazing life as you as their father. The bad ending is that you unleash Rapture upon the world with all the splicers. So with that out of the way, let's talk about game mechanics. First things first is controls. For a first-person shooter, these controls are very wonky. Usually X is jump and triangle is change weapons. In this, triangle is jump and X is to interact, I believe. Square is reload, circle is crouch, which is kind of normal. But yeah, it was a very throw-offy thing to begin with. You also do not get to really ADS. You can, but that is by pushing down one of the analog sticks, which I always found weird, so I would never really do it. But instead of, using your ADS button, it switches through your wheel. You get a ton of guns in this game that I'm not going to fully list off. You also get a wrench, but the wrench is unlimited, obviously. Everything else, ammo comes at a cost that you literally have to pay in vending machines. And then, like I said, with Eve, that's the other side. You have a lot of options on that as well. Some that you need throughout the game, some that you can just buy, which are pretty fun. I always usually stuck to Incinerate, which is the fire one, and Electroshock, which is the electric one, and Winter's Freeze, which is the freezing one. But yeah, so you get all that and everything. Again, you have to spend money to get extra things. It's kind of a whole thing about laissez-faire and like commentary on that. And basically the enemy types, as soon as you get used to one type, a new type is introduced. The big daddies are hard on this game, easier on Bioshock 2. It's a lot of strategy that you have to do to be able to handle these big daddies. The little sister morality thing I do feel was done better in Bioshock 2. This one you get the choice immediately, and it doesn't really challenge you to think, okay, which one's easier at the moment? Because that was a big thing in Bioshock 2, was harvesting is easier at the moment than is rescuing little sisters. Potentially, because we'll get to that in Bioshock 2. But doing that, it doesn't really weigh the situation of, okay, do I have the time and energy to rescue this little sister, or should I just harvest them? This game, it's like, okay, should I harvest them, or should I rescue them, like that? The only real decision is, do I have enough energy to fight this Big Daddy right now? And that is another thing, the saving system does not allow you to really go back to rescue any little sisters. So you do need to like figure out, like, if you want to get it done, how you're going to heal yourself in that level. I want to say looting system in this is kind of basic. It's actually something that I don't really pay attention to in games, but this one, it usually is one of four things: ammunition, healing, bringing back your Eve, or ammunition. If I said ammunition already, it was healing your cash inventory. So those four things, and like literally after a while you kind of just blur together and just keep tapping X, or for everybody else B, or for Xbox I should say B, just loading out what you're grabbing. You're not even really thinking about it. And it's kind of bare bones. I mean, the game is 2007, so it's understandable. But yeah. So all in all, I think the story for this game, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. I thought it's great. It's great to replay. There's just some clunkiness with it compared to modern games. For controls and everything, I am going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because it is very hard to get used to, especially if you're jumping between different first-person shooters. This game will kind of give you whiplash. For character types and everything, for enemy types I should say and everything, I am going to give an 8 out of 10 as well. Always good keeping you on your toes. They always throw new things at you and everything like that. The only issue I have is I wish there was more distinguished boss fights. I literally only remember Big Daddies, which were mini bosses technically, and Fontaine. There are some other boss fights in there, but they're more just waves of enemies than anything else, which we'll complain about that in Bioshock 2. But yeah. So for that, and then for other gameplay mechanics, I am going to give it 8 out of 10. You don't really get to communicate with people outside of radios and them talking to you between walls. It was another like issue I had with it. But yeah, so overall I'm going to give the game an 8 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's that Nerd Ryan.